Poggi is 2-0 as Michigan's interim head coach as Michigan holds on to beat Nebraska 30-27. They are up 10 with about 4 minutes left in the game. Nebraska gets a late touchdown. Brandon Hillman, dodges a bullet there, does not get the targeting call, which they reviewed was not targeting because clearly what else are you going to do as a defender? Nebraska scores to kick the onside kick. Kendrick Bell recovers, and Michigan holds on to win 30-27. I've got 5 instant reactions for you here on the Michigan Football Report by Chat Sports. As always, I am your host, James Yoder, and Michigan improves to 3-1. Their first victory of the year that really matters, right? New Mexico, Central Michigan, lost to Oklahoma in between there. And now you've got a victory against a competent team in Nebraska on the road in Lincoln. Dylan Raiola, right? A guy who's going to be a first-round draft pick probably a year from now, right? In April of 2027. Still has a junior year and the rest of the sophomore year to go. And former NFL head coach and Matt Rhule in his third year, the year that he turns things around. So let's jump into our 5 instant reactions. Number 1, explosive running plays continue to be the story of this offense through 4 games of the 2025 season. Let's start early, right? Michigan scores the first touchdown. Field goal early on. Not Dylan Raiola. Dominic Zavada, 46-yard field goal early on in the first. And then about a minute and a half later, Bryce Underwood after an interception. A really nice play by Jair Hill. They got tipped. Cole Sullivan, who's been just an absolute gem on this team so far this year, gets the pick. And then one play, right? You got safeties out to the side. Bryce Underwood, whoop, straight up the gut, untouched, 37-yard touchdown run, completely untouched, and an explosive running plays. And one of the things that I said in my Keys to Victory on Friday's show was that Michigan needs to have 2 rushers over 75 yards. And as I glance down here at my phone, as I'm looking here at my computer, they did that, right? Justice Haynes, 4 straight games over 100 yards. Might be one of the leading Heisman candidates in the country at this point, right? 17 carries, 149, had a 75-yard touchdown, kind of looked like Donovan Edwards, right? Donovan Edwards, whoa! Justice Haynes, whoa! 17 for 149 and a touchdown. Jordan Marshall, 6 carries, only 6 carries, okay, but broke one, 54 yards, I believe it was, so he finishes with 80 yards. And then Bryce Underwood, 8 carries for 61 yards, which includes sacks, etc. So I'll have to look back at the sack numbers, but if you include the sacks, he had over 75 himself. Michigan as a team, 286 yards rushing, 3 rushing touchdowns, average 8.7 yards per carry on 33 rushes. And that's the story of the game, right? You rush like that as a football team. You go on the road with a freshman quarterback, but with this running game, down 2 starting offensive linemen, 286, you average 8.7, 3 rushing touchdowns, all 3 of them huge, explosive, boom, touchdown plays. And 2 of them, the Bryce Underwood one and the Justice Haynes one, I think those are Michigan's first 2 touchdowns of the game. First 2 touchdowns of the game. Both those plays were on the first play of a drive, right? The Underwood one right after the interception, and then the Justice Haynes one coming out in, I believe it was the 3rd quarter to put Michigan up, and they never looked back after that. That was not a lead that Nebraska came back and even tied. They cut it to 3. Michigan gets the win 30-27. Only 3 players to get rushing yards for this team all game were Haynes, Marshall, and Underwood. So explosive running plays. Michigan gets it done, and that was probably the difference of the game, right? Because nothing really happened on the side of the passing game for Michigan. Give me your one-word reaction to this victory over Nebraska, 30-27. Go down in the comments. Give me just a single one word of what you think about this game. Mine is, frankly, satisfying. And I'll tell you why it's satisfying is because I felt that Michigan's defense played really well for a lot of stretches of this game. Right before half, they gave up a weird touchdown, 40-some yards on a zone play where they had like 8 guys at the line of scrimmage. I didn't understand it. Broke back. Jair Hill was kind of covering like 2/3 of the field. He was just left on an island, and Nebraska scored a touchdown. And then threw the Hail Mary. So it's 14 points right there. You take either one of those plays off the table potentially, and Michigan wins this game comfortably. So it's a satisfying win. Bryce Underwood, a satisfying performance, although not the greatest game passing the ball for him. Number 2. This defensive line, I felt dominated for the majority of the game, made Dylan Raiola look super uncomfortable. 7 sacks on the game. And I think it's pretty obvious right now with the emergence of Cole Sullivan, with Jimmy Rhule playing a big part of this team, with Ernest Hausman being the usual Ernest Hausman and making plays all over the field. I think it's pretty clear that Jaishawn Barham is now your starting defensive end, and maybe even a rotation with Derek Moore and TJ Guy. TJ Guy, who did not play last week for whatever reason. We all kind of know, like, oh yeah, he just didn't play. Whether it was sending a message or some sort of unspoken suspension. But Jaishawn Barham is the best player on this probably entire football team, right? Him and Justice Haynes, in my opinion. And he looks like an absolute freak. He looks like a guy who is going to be an NFL star in a couple years at that defensive end. I mean, hell, he looks like Micah Parsons to me. He's got the number 1. Parsons now has changed to 0 for the Packers. He looks like Micah Parsons. This defensive line dominated. As I flip over to some of my notes from early on in the game, TJ Guy. Location change. I filmed the entire video. We lost audio, I guess. So flipping over to the other side of the downstairs. So continue on the defensive line. TJ Guy, I thought he was in on some plays early. The defensive line really set the tone on the first few drives. Even though Nebraska had some success, went for a 4th down that got stopped. Tried to get the field goal that they didn't get. TJ Guy made his presence felt, and there was just a ton of players playing on this defensive line. I noted in the second quarter, first note I had, TJ Guy, Rashawn Benny dominate on a 3rd and 8 to force a punt. Didn't get the sack, but still dominated. And Michigan was looking great. Those 7 sacks. I just really think you got 9 or 10 different guys. You got Jaishawn Barham in there. You got maybe 10 guys that are starter level quality for this team on the defensive line right now. And I just think that's an excellent thing for Michigan to have as they now go to 3-1 and have a bye week next week, and then take on a Wisconsin team that lost 27-10 today to Maryland. So we'll see how they shake out. I think their coaching situation there, Wisconsin, is a little brutal. They tried to almost make a Rich Rod hire with Luke Fickell, who seemed to run a similar offense to what they've done, a running attack, but he tried to go spread, he tried to go air raid. It has not worked out there at all. Guys, we still have the Michigan football sideline shirt is on sale, $26.09. Go to chatsports.com/Michigan sideline. I'm going to put that link in the description of the video, second paragraph. chatsports.com/Michigan sideline, and going to put it as a response to the pinned comment at the bottom of the video. So go to the pinned comment, click replies. You'll see it right there as well. Normally $64.99. It's only $26.09, 60% off. Go get that sideline shirt. Save it for Christmas if you want for this Michigan football 2025 season. Get yourself some cheap gear on sale from Jordan. Jordan brand stuff, not usually cheap. Now only $26.09. Give me a grade though. Biff Poggi. Second game as Michigan's interim head coach, had a really funny appearance this morning on College Game Day from ESPN. Give me a grade A, B, C, D, or F on just today's game against Nebraska. I am going to give him a solid B. Could be an A, I guess, in a lot of circumstances because they won a game against a fairly decent Nebraska team, it seems. But I thought there was at least 1 or 2 coaching issues, most notably not calling that timeout, which we'll talk about here in a few seconds, before halftime, and giving Nebraska the opportunity to just throw a Hail Mary with no consequences if they didn't get it. I'm giving Biff Poggi a B. Give me a grade for him, A, B, C, D, or F. Use a plus, use a minus. It is up to you. Speaking of Biff, let's talk about the coaching staff. Is my number 3 instant reaction. Coaching was good, and it was bad. Let's talk about the good first, right? I thought early on, the flea flicker, right? Samaj Morgan rolling out to Donovan McCulley was a hell of a play call. Completely caught Nebraska off guard. They were unprepared for it. And then you had the long drive at the end of the game, right? Over 8 minutes on that last drive to basically take it out of Nebraska's hands, not give them the opportunity. Got the ball back down 10 with only 3:46 or so left in the game. Michigan has an 8+ minute drive, which is great. Flea flicker, kind of coaching to win. Felt that was good, but not calling a timeout before halftime. Not recognizing that, hey, Nebraska doesn't have confidence in their offense right now, so what they're going to do is just take a guilt-free Hail Mary to the end zone. Had Michigan called a timeout, Nebraska would have got to 4th down around midfield. They would have either punted or maybe try to get the first down. I doubt that. They would have probably punted, which really wouldn't have done anything for Michigan, but would have done wouldn't have done anything positive for Michigan, but would have taken away Nebraska's opportunity to go and throw that Hail Mary. Because if you think about it, Nebraska's not going to throw that Hail Mary with 27 seconds left, because if they do on a 4th down, let's say, and they don't get it, Michigan gets the ball at midfield, and they've got 2 or 3 plays and a timeout or so to get themselves in the field goal range. I thought it was just coaching, I would say malpractice, but certainly not big-time coaching recognition from Biff Poggi or really any guy on the coaches on the Michigan staff. I'm surprised that Chip Lindsey on the offensive coordinator side or Wink Martindale didn't say anything to him. I just felt it was a really bad recognition of what Nebraska was trying to do from Michigan's coaching staff. But nevertheless, I gave Biff a B, and I think there was good moments and at least one bad moment before halftime for this Michigan team. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. It's the Michigan Football Report. We're putting about 4 videos per week here in this 2025 season. Getting towards 36,000 subscribers. We were the most watched show for Michigan football on any platform. We're talking radio, we're talking TV, we're talking podcast, YouTube. In 3 of the last 4 years, trying to do that again here in 2025. So go ahead and hit subscribe. Let's talk about number 4, instant reaction. Wide receivers continue to struggle. Preston Yoder, you want to come say hi to the video? Feel free. They're out. Kids having fun in the backyard. Wide receivers continue to struggle. Say hi, Press. You have a baseball game today? Say hello. Wide receivers continue to struggle for this Michigan team. Samaj Morgan dropped a pass or two. He tried to be in there and be a quarterback. That didn't really work out very well for Michigan. And if you look at the stats, which we'll do here, Donovan McCulley, he had an almost amazing play in the second half where he twisted his body, got up, used that 6'5" frame, and nearly caught a ball. Was about this far out of bounds on a big-time play, but I think it was on third down and 8 maybe, if I recall correctly. But he only had 3 catches for 39. I think he's established himself, but certainly not a wide receiver 1 for a big-time football program. Samaj Morgan, 2 catches for 22 yards, at least 1 drop, and that brutal pass to Donovan McCulley. And you got to go all the way down. Shannon Goodwin, 1 for 5. Michigan at 105 yards receiving as a team. Bryce Underwood, 12 for 22 for 105. No touchdowns again, so only 1 touchdown pass for him through 4 games. I'm sorry, 2 touchdown passes. I got that one against to Samaj last week. But Marlon Klein, 2 catches. Justice Haynes, 3 catches. Zach Marshall, tight end, 1 catch. So your receivers had 6 total catches for 39, 22, 5 yards, and they had 67 yards. That's just not going to cut it. Michigan needs to spend a lot of time in this fall, this transfer portal season, to get big-time wide receivers. You've got Bryce Underwood for at least 2 more seasons, I believe, unless something crazy happens. And Michigan needs to optimize to win 2 national titles. Not saying they're going to, not saying it's a disappointment if they don't, but they need to put themselves in position when you have a generational quarterback like Clemson did back when they had Trevor Lawrence, like plenty of other schools like Alabama did when they had Tua. When you've got this type of quarterback like Florida did back with Tim Tebow, you've got to put excellent playmakers around him. They've got it at running back. They've got Savion Hyder coming in next year as well. Running back is good. Tight end, we'll see. Marlon Klein can come back next year. Offensive line, wide receiver, you need 2 players in the transfer portals, instant starter, instant all-conference, or even better type of guys, and that's what Michigan needs to do this offseason if they're going to optimize to compete and maybe win a national title in Bryce Underwood's sophomore and junior year, like they did with J.J. McCarthy when he was starting. Who was your player of the game today for Michigan? Let's actually, because I think it's pretty obvious, Justice Haynes was on offense. So let's actually pick a defensive player of the game. I actually think it might be Cole Sullivan, right? If you look at the tackles, he was 4th leading tackler on the team with 6 tackles and had that interception, just a hell of a play, a gyre hill tip on an out pass. Ball went up in the game, in the air, and Cole Sullivan got himself a interception. The emergence of Sullivan, Jimmy Roller playing decent. Obviously, Ernest Hausman is continuing to crush it, has allowed Michigan to move Jaishawn Barham. And if Cole Sullivan's going to continue to make plays like this, he's just going to continue to be in the game and be a starting level player for Michigan this year and beyond. Super excited to see this play continue from him, given that he was not a big-time recruit, but he has been an excellent pickup for Michigan. Number 5, instant reaction. Hope we're getting audio because we filmed an entire video about 30 minutes ago and the second half of the audio wasn't working. Final drive by Bryce and Chip Lindsey was a winning drive, right? My 3 keys to the game: have 2 players run over 75 yards. Michigan did that with the 2 running backs and almost got there, of course, with Bryce Underwood. Limit Nebraska's running game, right? Nebraska ran for, what did we say? I think it was like 43 yards on 31 carries. And then play call to win. Make winning play calls. Try to win the game. Don't try to lose. That was a winning drive. You're going now. We're not going to give the ball back to Nebraska with a chance to win it. We're going to give them back the ball where they need to score twice to win the game, under 5 minutes, under 4 minutes, and that's what Michigan did. Great play calls by Chip Lindsey. I thought there may be a couple of times that they could have given Bryce the opportunity to run even more than he did, but there was one play call there in that last drive, or second to last drive, I guess technically, the field goal drive, the 8 minutes and 46-second drive to get a field goal to go up 10 with 3:54 left, where they let Bryce run and that got him a first down, and that was one of the keys to the game for Michigan in winning this football game. But that's it for today. We'll be back on probably Sunday. I'll put a video out, Michigan Instant Overreaction Sunday, and then we'll have plenty of Michigan Football Report content for you Monday, Tuesday, into next week. Preston, you want to say bye to the people? Go ahead and do that. Appreciate everyone watching. Go Blue. I guess he doesn't want to. He's going outside. We'll see you later. Michigan wins 30-27. See you guys later. Go Blue.